What is stress, and what does it actually do to our mind, body, spirit? So I decided to go straight to my two trusted sources for this definition of stress. I went to the Cleveland Clinic and to Harvard. Stress is the body's reaction to any change that requires an adjustment or a response. And the body reacts to these changes with physical, mental, and emotional responses. Stress is a normal part of life. You can experience stress from your environment, your body, and even your own thoughts. The human body is designed to experience stress and react to it. So stress can actually be positive. It keeps us alert, motivated, and ready to avoid danger. Stress, however, becomes negative when a person faces continuous challenges without relief or relaxation between these stressors. And as a result, we become overworked. And the stress-related tension starts to build. And the body's autonomic nervous system has a built-in stress response that causes physiological changes in the body to combat these stressful situations. And this stress response, as we know, is called fight or flight. It is activated in the case of an emergency. However, this response can become chronically activated during prolonged periods of stress. And prolonged activation of the stress response actually can start to cause wear and tear in our body, both physically and emotionally. This fight or flight response, because it is evolved as a survival mechanism, enables people and other mammals to react quickly to life-threatening situations. This carefully orchestrated, yet nearly instantaneous sequence of hormonal changes causes the response to actually help someone to fight or flight or flee to safety. Unfortunately, the body can overreact to these stressors that are not life-threatening. Today, uncertainty, life pressures, family, work, friends. Over the years, researchers have learned that not only how these reactions occur, but they've also gained insight into the long-term effects of chronic stress and how it has an effect on our physical and our emotional health. Over time, repeated activation of the stress response takes a toll on our body. And research suggests that chronic stress contributes to high blood pressure, promotes formation of artery clogging deposits, causes brain changes like anxiety, depression, and even forms of addiction. The stress response begins in the brain. So when someone confronts danger, like an oncoming car or another danger, the eyes and the ears, or both, send this information to the amygdala. This is the part of the brain that actually contributes to this emotional processing. The amygdala interprets these images and sound, and when it perceives danger, it instantly sends a distress signal to the hypothalamus. So this area of the brain, which is like the command center, communicating with the rest of the body through the nervous system, so that this person has the energy to fight, to flee. But after the amygdala sends the distress signal, the hypothalamus activates the sympathetic nervous system by sending signals through our nerves and our adrenal glands. These glands respond by producing hormones, epinephrine, for example. They start to flow into the bloodstream, and as epinephrine circulates through the body, the heart beats faster than normal, pushing blood into our muscles, into our heart and other vital organs. The pulse rate and the blood pressure goes up, and the person undergoing these changes also starts to breathe more rapidly. The small airways in our lungs begin to open. This way the lung can take on as much oxygen as possible with each breath. Extra oxygen is then pumped into the brain, increasing our alertness, our sight, our hearing, and our other senses become sharper. Meanwhile, the epinephrine triggers another sugar response, glucose, the fats that are temporarily stored in body sites. So these nutrients flow into the bloodstream, supplying energy to all parts of the body. As these changes happen so quickly that people aren't even aware of them. In fact, the wiring is so efficient that the amygdala and the hypothalamus start this cascade of action even before the brain's visual center has a chance to fully process what is happening. That is why people can jump out of the path of an oncoming car even before they think of what they're doing. So this area of the brain communicates with the rest of the body through the autonomic nervous system, which controls such involuntary bodily functions like breathing and blood pressure, our heartbeat, the dilation of our blood vessels, and the airways into our lungs. This autonomic nervous system has two components, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system functions like a gas pedal in a car. It triggers this fight or flight response, providing the body a burst of energy so that it can respond to a perceived danger. But then the parasympathetic nervous system acts like a brake. It promotes the rest and digest response that calms the body down after the danger has passed. As this initial surge of epinephrine subsides, the hypothalamus starts to activate a second component of stress response. This is known as the HPA axis. And this is a system of networks with the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland and other adrenal glands. So when this HPA axis relies on the series of hormonal signals to keep the gas pedal pressed down, if the brain continues to perceive something as dangerous, then the hypothalamus starts to produce various other chemicals like CHR, which travel to the pituitary gland, triggering a release of yet another hormone. These hormones then start to travel to our adrenal glands, prompting these responses to release cortisol. The body thus stays revved up in this high state of alert. Even when the threat passes, cortisol levels may stay high and slightly start to fall. But the parasympathetic nervous system, remember the brake, then dampens this stress response. But many people are unable to find a way to put a brake on stress. And chronic low-level stress activates this HPA axis, which is kind of like a motor that is idling too high for too long. And after a while, this has an effect on the body and contributes to so many health problems. You may know some of the warning signs, because stress can bring down this wear and tear on the body's natural defenses, leading to symptoms like sleeplessness. You might feel dizzy or generally out of it. You might start to have some muscle aches and body aches, clenching your jaw, grinding your teeth, headaches, indigestion, acid reflux symptoms are very common. You may have weight loss or weight gain, tension in the neck or the face or the shoulders, sleeping problems, a racing heart, cold, maybe sweaty palms. You might be tired, exhausted. You might have some trembling or shaking, an upset stomach, diarrhea, and often sexual difficulties. But fortunately, we can learn techniques to counter the stress response. And this is how your Awakened Heart can help. Through this program, we will introduce you to multiple mindfulness practices, like keeping a positive attitude, learning to accept that there are events that you cannot control. We'll be exploring meditation, journaling, reflection, breath work, yoga, and even some chanting. We will be bringing to you especially yoga, the mind-body practice. Yoga brings together physical and mental disciplines that can help you achieve peacefulness in the mind-body. This can help you relax and actually manage your stress and anxiety. We will also be incorporating breath work, pranayama. Controlling our breath can help you control the mind-body and really quiet the mind. We also invite you to try some chanting, mantras, and using hand gestures called mudras to further help reduce stress. We're very excited to bring you some meditation techniques, additional breath work, compassion practices, self-care journaling. So I suggest you to take time, explore each one of these segments. One of these aspects of this course may resonate with you over another. Take your time, explore, and please open yourself up to trying something new. Come back again and again to one or all of these practices to better help you and understand how to manage stress. So, namaste everyone. Namaste literally means I bow to you.